around in success.
And here we are. I have been waiting, patiently excited to be unbelievable, to be here with Jay and Daphne talking about recovery, joy, mental health, all in one pretty package. As we enter the stage, self-worth, wow, through acceptance, self-love, and self-compassion. 3 core principles. Acceptance. What step is that in the program? Step 1 in the traditional 12 steps? I'm not great at
don't know. I
those.
haven't done them for so long. I don't know. I would say that it was step 1. Yeah. What is it? You're powerless over your addiction, and your life becomes unmanageable. That's what that's step 1 is.
That's acceptance.
Acceptance. Yeah.
That's acceptance.
Yep.
Self-love. I think that's a daily practice, and self-compassion. I start my day off with gratitude. Throughout the day, I send Daphne my list of things I am grateful for. I set deliberate intentions, and I practice self-care, hydration, a well-balanced plate of food, all that good stuff. And I find that before I fall off the proverbial wagon, I already sense it coming. I start to get this edginess inside of me, really edgy, really irritable. And I reach for my Bach remedies, those support me daily. I reach for a little bit of, there's so many. I have remedies that help me be less anxious about others. That's a big one for me. Codependency was something that I overcame. And as a mom of 5 and a grandmother to 3, it can be a real challenge, right? Yeah, there's a lot going on there. And it's about allowing them to fly. I can't cut their wings and clip their wings and tell them what to do. And they are my friends now. Not the grandchildren so much, but my 4 sons are very, very, very helpful. Different levels, different layers, and they remind me of what I have told them. So when I recovered from the wonderful things like codependency, overworking for sure, still working on that one, and cocaine and crack. I mean, it wasn't anything that was earth-shattering when I was in it. I didn't see that. So in empowering myself to recover, my life changed. How important is it when we enter the stage of recovery to look at the layers and levels of the family as well as ourselves? Jay?
Like at your family, you mean?
Well, addiction runs in my family.
For me, it was all unresolved trauma. So I don't, I was never addicted to anything, right? It was unresolved trauma. So I just used things. So it didn't matter if it's crack, sex, porn, food, whatever. It's all the same stuff for me. It was the unresolved trauma that I wasn't taking care of, meaning that I would get into something, right? And then I just wouldn't deal with it. So then it got pushed down. Then I got into something else. Then it got pushed down. Then I got into something else. Then it got pushed down. So I just didn't have the right tools, resources, help, knowledge, family awareness. My family has a whole bunch of unresolved trauma. So I was really tuned into unresolved trauma coming into my life. So my mom was married 3 times. Dad was married 5. So probably why I'm having such a hard time in the relationship department. But at the end of the day, it's all like, that's how I look at it. And that's how I teach our program, Hyper Recovery Coaching, as well. As I look at it from an unresolved trauma side of things, like we all carry around a duffel bag of unresolved trauma, right? I did not want to go put that in my arm. I did not want to put that in my nose. I did not want to drink that. I did not want to sit in front of the TV and watch what I was watching because it ruined all my relationships. I did not want to eat myself so sick that I'd get sick. I did not want to stop, I didn't want to do those things, right? Like I did it because there was unresolved trauma and I didn't have anybody there to teach me how to work on the unresolved trauma. And my family did the best that they could do with what they had, but they didn't have very many tools themselves. And also, my mom, was the biggest enabler in my life. So because of the divorce and because of the name change and because of all this stuff that went on and my dad not being in my life, my mom held a lot of guilt. So it was basically whatever I wanted, I could get. And, that was very dangerous in a lot of ways, not just for my own health, but my mom's health as well, because she had serious codependency issues. So there was really there's just a whack of unresolved trauma that nobody knew how to take care of. So it got pushed on to the next generation. So I kind of like to look at it like experiences, right? So we all go through experiences. When we first get born, we're an experience flying up to become a baby, and then we get the heart, right? It's all, life is just a big experience. And if our hearts are open enough to accept every single experience, good, bad, ugly, in the middle, over the top, whatever, you will be able to work through the stuff. And that's what recovery has given me. Recovery has given me the fact that I can understand that I'm just this person in this orbit floating around. I don't know when my time is up because nobody knows. And it's up to me to really embrace trauma and embrace the experiences of life, good, bad, or ugly. So if I keep an open heart, that means that my intentions of love, kindness, and compassion are there no matter what. So, I try to keep my heart open, because you talked about, like, when your heart's closed, that's when you get irritated and mad and angry, and like you're pointing your finger at somebody they're driving, and it's like you don't even know what they're going through. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, we have all this anger in the world, but we have very little love, kindness, and compassion today. So, Empower to Recover Foundation is really just trying to throw out love, kindness, and compassion. And I know you said something about family, and I went on a tangent here, but life is experiences for me and unresolved trauma. That's really how I boil it down to my recovery. It's up to me to understand, because I don't know anything. So anybody that's walking around with "I know," what do you know? Do you understand? You have to understand, what's going on with you. And if you're not understanding what's going on, that's probably you're not accepting the experiences that are coming into your life, and you're probably got a lot of resentments, and you probably got a lot of anger, and you probably got a lot of hate, and all those things, right? Because you feel like you've been wronged. And I'm not saying you haven't been wronged, but it's up to you to accept that wrong, let it go, and get to the next experience. Because why stay stuck and stagnant? We're only here for a short period of time. Why? Right? And I see so many people that are just stuck and stagnant, and it's sad because they have so much potential. Everybody in this world has so much potential. Their worth is so much, and so many people just don't see the worth in themselves. And we're getting to see it with the platform that we have, because we got some amazing stories coming to light. And experiences unresolved trauma.
I like to say
trauma comes in many bags. Trauma comes in many bags. Daph, give her.
Well, I was going to say, I choose not to use the word trauma just simply because I'm a wordsmith, and I get what you're saying, and I totally agree with you 1000%. But I also agree with the experiences, and each experience creates the valuable lesson to learn from. Whether one wants to learn from it or not, that's their choice. And yes, I agree with you again 100% that everybody is unique and everybody has amazing, infinite potential. Everybody is magical in my world. Everybody can do amazing, magical things. And I love to support them on their healing journeys as well. But I would love to know more about what your Empower to Recover Foundation is about.
We're a national non-for-profit. So 2015, actually, let's back that up. In 2008, when I was going to treatment in Ottawa, they asked me to go speak. And I was like, okay, cool. They're like, we'll pay you $50, but it was like $50 in Salvation Army coupons. And I was like really happy about that because I had no clothes. So I was able to go get clothes. And so they said to go to the church. So I went down to the church and I was waiting. Church, am I at the right church? Anyways, I took it upon myself, about 45 minutes in, I said, I'm just going to speak in this church with me and God. And, I had this dream of being a motivational speaker for a very long time. I mean, I used to sit in jail and just speak about being a badass. But so I spoke for like an hour of just my story, right? And it was like one of the biggest cleansing things in my whole entire life that I ever did. I went back to the treatment center, said, I don't know if I was at the right church, wrong church. I don't know, but nobody showed up. I still shared, though, by myself and God. And they're like, sorry, yeah, it got canceled, but here's the $50. And I was like, what? And they gave me the $50. And I was like, that. So when you talk about the self-worth, that was the self-worth that happened right there in that moment that I was like, shit, $50. And I just spoke to God, really. And I went down and bought myself it was a salmon pink shirt. What was it? Aggressive salmon shirt, and I headed off to an NA dance. But it was beautiful because from that moment, I knew what the calling was. I knew what the mission was. I knew what the vision was. I knew what I wanted to do. I started branding myself as Chef Recovery, and entered the chef world and became very successful in the chef world. I got the opportunity to do things with people like William Shatner and Wayne Gretzky and Mark Messier, and all these amazing individuals, Theo Fleury. And it took this whole thing up, which then gave me this opportunity to actually start being a motivational speaker and actually making a living off the thing. Which landed me into 2015 when I did a TEDx talk in Fort McMurray, and I was looking around going, holy, if there was a day that I could just ever collect a whole bunch of lived experienced individuals up and a whole bunch of organizations, businesses, products, and services, and just get them under one roof of love, kindness, and compassion, shit, could we ever take over the world? And that was 2015. 8 years later, I own a fish processing business called Freshwater Cuisine. So moved back to Kenora, met Julie, had my beautiful daughter Destiny, who's my love of my life and my joy, and my little mini me. And she runs around the house yelling "Recovery rocks!" And she said yesterday, she said, one of the cute, Daddy, 16 years coming up soon, right, Daddy? And I'm like, it's just so amazing. There's just this little kid that, that just really is proud of her dad for his recovery as much as she can understand it. Anyway, so I start, we hit the gong show, and I had a pretty successful business called Freshwater Cuisine. That was a fish processing company. We were national. We were getting ready to be international, selling fish all across the world. And COVID knocked us out. I ended up losing a couple $1 million and roll into August. Well, in that period of time too, I did a bunch of stuff with TV. We were able to do some TV stuff while the downtime was on. So I was still promoting some stuff. It was hard to do, but we still did it. Then August of 2021, we launched my program, which is called Hyper Recovery Coaching, which stands for Help Your Personal Efforts. So it's a 6 and a 12-week program, and I knew the importance of wait times, can't get to a counselor, doctors were backed up, frontline workers were burnt out. I couldn't talk to anybody, nobody could talk to anybody. So I knew the importance of how I needed to get this program worked, and so we produced it. Sober Biz Babe and myself, Robert Ware, Sabrina, and we basically took the program out of my mind that I'd been working for 11 years and put it into book form. I launched it to the world on my 5,000 days, which was October 18th, 2021. And it was an overwhelming response to, you guys are doing what? Your lived experience, you got what going on? Now, the one problem is because it was a business, you had to pay me in order for me to do your thing. So we've had 62 people come through the program in the 2 years, and they're still successfully in recovering at whatever pace they're recovering at. They still stay in contact with me. They still talk to me. They still, just because you pay me once doesn't mean that you don't get to talk to me again. I'm not that kind of guy. But I had 500 other people reach out to me that were waiting on wait lists. I had treatment centers couldn't get, and I was like, I had this big, heavy thing on my heart about these 500 people. So I end up taking on 40 by my 40. I just said, come on in, I'll do it for free. And at that moment, I was like, okay, we need to create something that's alternative. This is ridiculous because we got people dying left, right, and center. And we rolled into March 29th, 2022. I met Carl Heath. He's a UK stud. He's a part of the foundation. He's one of the founders of it, along with Brooke, who's Sober Biz Babe. And I said, hey guys, I got this idea. It's called Empower to Inspire, which is a bunch of motivational speakers that have lived experience. Doesn't matter if you're a speaker or not. And then we're going to get we're going to get organizations, businesses, products, services that help. We're going to get healthy modalities. We're going to get different programs. We're going to get all this stuff. I said, I think we could really do something with this. And they said, Brooke went to see about Empower to Inspire, and she's like, Jay, that name's taken, but what about Empower to Recover? And I was like, whoa, what? Did you just say that?
Isn't that how it always happens? Somebody comes to you and says, I've got an idea. What do you think?
Well, she just was running the names, right, to see what names were available because she knew I wanted Empower.
Yeah.
But what was the most sexiest is it's Empower #2 Recover. So I was like, buy it now, because everything fits underneath Empower to Recover. You're not an alcoholic. You're not an addict. You're not a sex fiend. You're not a porn addict. Everything comes underneath this platform, and everybody can share because we all got a story, and it wasn't just one label. I don't like labels. Labels are not for me. I don't like, they're like, hey Jay, we think you got ADHD. No, I don't. I'm in recovery. That's what I got. I got recovery. I'm dealing from life. Like, I don't like myself. So all of a sudden we started building it, and we wanted to start in BC because of Bonnie Henry saying that people can't get abstinent-based programs or can't have abstinent-based recovery coming off of heroin or whatever the case may be. And there's all kinds of us out there that got abstinent-based programs. I'm open to any way that you can recover, because recovery is recovery. But to say that you cannot get abstinent-based program, it was a real kick in the nuts for people that actually have done abstinent-based programs. So we started in BC. We were going to do our first event November 19th of 2022. I had to cancel the event because there was a conflict of interest, and I thought the dream was gone. This was after doing all kinds of events, all kinds of vendor booths, really promoting it. And I was like, when you just have that feeling like, oh man, did I just? And then I kind of just cooled it down. Brooke and I just focused in, and I said, May 27th, New Westminster Anvil Center, we do the first event. If it's just me and you that show up, we need the content. And the content is the concept. So when you get from concept to content, now you got something to show people. And it was
Plant the seed.
It was one of the most phenomenal days of my whole entire existence of recovery life, of dreams to ever come true. I got goosebumps right now going right on up and down my back, and my skin, hair standing up. Because I've been able to live a lot of dreams, right? Like, I've been able to live every single dream that I ever put to the universe. I got at some point in my recovery. Every single dream I've ever asked the universe to work with me has come at some point. And I'm one of the fortunate ones that gets to say that, right? Because I'm not scared. I'm not scared to go after my dreams. I'm not scared to go after my goals. I'm not scared to say what my worth is. I'm not scared what any of that stuff. I have big dreams, and sometimes I lose a lot of people around me because they're so big. People get scared, fear, false evidence appearing real. And what I saw in BC was 120 people showed up. So this is on an event that really nobody knew about. Meaning, like, what are they going to do? Number two, we had phenomenal speakers. Every speaker showed up, from Kids Play Cal to two-time Grey Cup champion Shea Emery. Theo Fleury was a keynote speaker. Beatrice Love was there. Brooke was there. Daily Dad was there. Carl Heath was there. Nano Mist
Beautiful.
was there. It was a phenomenal day. And we were up against the Hayek Festival, Luke Combs, the NA conference in Kelowna, some other thing. Anyway, I picked a day where there were 6 events, and I said, you know what? Bring it! Bring it! And 120 people showed up. And I was like, wow. We raised $7,695 on the first event, which is phenomenal. Like, really phenomenal. I was like, holy cow, like, this is crazy. And then we got all this content. Right? We got all this amazing content. And, from there, a couple days later, I started getting booked. So then I got booked to speak in Calgary. I went and spoke in Calgary. I started talking about this. I was like, you wouldn't believe what we just did. Well, you should bring one here. And then I went and spoke. Oh, you should bring one here. And I was like, okay. And then I'm coming back on the plane to Kenora, and I'm like, wait a second. September is recovery month. I got to bring one home. There's never been a recovery day in Kenora. And I landed, and I booked for September 15th in Kenora, Ontario. We did the first ever recovery day here. We raised $26,500 here in Kenora. On the second event. So second event, we became a non-for-profit July 25th. So we weren't even a non-for-profit for 2 months. We did the second event in under 5 months. And we had 216 people showed up, sold out the event. We had MVP Greg Rickford open up for the first time publicly about losing his younger brother to a fentanyl overdose and what that did to his family. We had Elder Daryl Red Sky talk about his experience and what happened to him in his life as an Indigenous guy. We had the birth of the most beautiful human being in the world. We call her Street Angel today. Her name's Angel Roy. She's 17 years old, 17 plus months into recovery now. Her and her dad are this recovery combo couple, Mike G, who is 6 years into recovery. We had Beatrice Love there. Theo Fleury was there. We had Eric Malello. It was just everybody showed up, right? And then we ended the year in Calgary, Alberta, where we did 150 people sold out again at the Silver Springs Golf and Country Club. And we just had a phenomenal event. We had Truth and Agony, the band there. We had Greg Ryder there. We had Earl Thiessen, who is Oxford House, speak as well. We had, who else did we have there? We had Carl Heath there. We had, we had 30 speakers in all 3 events. Stories. 486 people in total showed up to all those 3 events. We raised $60,056 the first year. We had 47 different community partners get involved, from treatment centers to second stage homes to pre-treatment to products to services. We partnered up with Sam's Tags, which is this beautiful lady by the name of Tammy Bush here in Kenora, Ontario. Her son lost his life, death by suicide, and she makes these tags. And on the tags, all handmade, on the tags, she puts what she would say to her son on the tags. I don't have the keys.
Oh, wow.
And Tammy is a beautiful soul, and so whatever she was, I think I got one on my tag that says "We love you" or "I love you" or something like that. But they're all homemade, painted. She picks rocks. Just a one of the most beautiful souls. Sam's Tags is called, and they do some phenomenal work. And that was 2023.
Well, 2024 is just going to be exponentially exploded. It sounds like everything is coming together in perfect divine timing, and the
Well,
universe
it's the
is
number
just
8 too.
right and abundance right there, right?
Number 8. Well, you know what's funny? So it's the number 8.
Do the math.
I turned 44 this year. That's another 8. I celebrate 16 years on February 11th. That's 2 8s. We got nominated for an award this year, which is kind of crazy.
Beautiful.
So the first award I ever won, I have it sitting in front of me because I'm manifesting it already, as when I had the old business, 2016, it's 2024, 8 years ago. On the award, it says the voice of business since 1888. The day of the event is February 8th.
Yeah.
And
Angel
the event
numbers,
is going
angel
on.
numbers, angel numbers, angel numbers. Yeah, angel
I mean,
numbers.
and it's just it's crazy when you really think about it, right? So and then so on the 8th, and then we do our first online event February 11th. So it's a free online event that we got going on. There's an event page going on right now, hyped about recovery celebration. Everybody's recovery. We got some massive speakers. You could probably come on and speak there, Nancy, if you wanted to.
I'm
So
in
there's
Mexico.
oh, see, can't talk on an online event. Eh? From the beach, you could come on. So, anyways, we're doing the first online. She's only into the live events. See that? So.
Well,
we're
no,
doing-
it depends upon the Wi-Fi. Depends upon the Wi-Fi, right? We're going down to Mexico. One of the most important parts of that trip is to find a location for the big day in 2025. So,
getting married.
yeah,
Oh boy.
we're gonna get married, exchange vows. It's not a it's we've been together for 10 years. This is the icing
Yeah,
on
good
the
time.
cake, but it's going to be huge. So we're
Nice.
very, very excited. And I think that's one of the things that helps all of us is to have a big goal. Because if somebody just gave me everything I wanted, I wouldn't appreciate it. It's the work that's put into it it's the whole journey of it, right? It's saving up the money from mowing lawns, babysitting to get that first bike. I know when I saved up for my first dog, I had to save up $300, and I was about 13 years old, and it was all through babysitting. And I mean, that's back in the 80s. They didn't pay that much, so it took a lot longer. But wow, it felt so important, and that's empowerment. When you create your dreams, it's empowering. If you don't have a dream strategy, if you don't have a dream plan, you spin your wheels.
Well, you stay in the
There's
matrix.
so much.
You stay in the matrix. You stay in the matrix.
Yeah.
The matrix is like working for somebody. Nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong on that one. But you build somebody else's dream, and you have your own dreams to build. But most people
Absolutely.
won't. They
You
won't.
can
They
you
won't
can
do
have
it.
a job. You can have a job and have a passion. And passions don't have to pay. You can be passionate about volunteering at a senior center. You can be passionate about taking dogs for walks.
Mhm.
There's both parts of the scenario. We don't always see that. Earlier, you were talking about something that reminded me of the connection between the trauma and the physical. So often, the trauma of an experience that we were not able to digest during that time. So, for example, you get hit by a car, trauma.
Yep.
Someone in your life passes away, trauma. You're in a battered relationship, you get smacked upside the head, trauma. When you do not have the opportunity to work through the cognitive aspect of it, you just move it, right? You're just moving. That energy gets trapped somewhere in the physical sparkle blanket. That's our body. I prefer sparkle blanket. Esther Hicks calls it a meat sack. I like sparkle blanket. It's just a little bit more comfy, cozy. So in moving that energy, we have to work into those parts of our bodies. So that backache, would it be possible that there's something more? You were talking about meditation earlier. When you tune in and tap in to what it is that's going on in the physical body, and somebody's like, oh, my back. Stay with it. Breathe into it. What else is coming up? What's going on? What's TikTok? What's a TikTok? What's a TikTok? Or what's a TikTok, right? We can sit there and scroll through TikTok or pause, roll into what's going on, and begin to recover that part of you that's just kind of just scattered a little bit. It's still there. It's just, it's not shining.
Yeah, like Michael Zinger calls them
Shining is
samkaras.
important.
The samkaras pop. Right? The downloaded files in our heart. Right? That's basically what an experience is it's downloaded in my heart. There's no virus protector on my heart. Like, let's be honest here. So everything just goes right in there. So like now I'm downloading all these experiences, and then all of a sudden I could be driving down, I could be with my wife. I just got married. Life is beautiful. Kids, everything's happening great. I see a yellow car and these two people holding on to each other. And I get a samkara that pops up because I didn't deal with it 10 years before that. My whole day gets ruined. I'm yelling at my wife. My kids are thrown out of the car, and I'm wondering what's going on with my life. Well, I got triggered because I saw a yellow car because it reminded me of that, and I was pissed because my ex didn't work through the shit with me. Well, it's not up to my ex to work through the shit with me. It's up to me to work through the shit. Most exes won't work through the shit with you anyway. So at the end of the day,
well, it's like parenting. It's like step parenting. It's not your responsibility if you're a step parent to raise a child.
Yeah, but those samkaras are a very interesting thing. Those samkaras,
they're huge. They're huge.
Yeah,
they're huge. Sanskrit. I'm a certified yoga teacher, so I understand all that kind of stuff. And yoga was part of my experience. It was a stepping stone in my recovery. Big one. And now, as I'm working through some physical,
you can identify, like when they pop. Like for me, I can just identify it right away. Like, where's it coming from? Right? Boom.
Who are
versus
you?
Like, well, you get in tune to stuff, right? Like you get in tune to like when you work on yourself every single day.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, so you were gonna ask me a question. Like I went into a bad spell. I was burnt out, COVID burnt out, relationship burnt out, dad burnt out, money burnt out, event burnt out, recovery. So I was just completely burnt out at the end of Calgary at November 19th and got severely sick. I had a CT scan to see if I had blasto. They keep checking. I don't have it. I had an allergic reaction to the dye on top of being burnt out, got me completely sick. Now, what happened was everything hit me all at once. So when I said all those burnt out things and the loss of money, well, I don't even like to look at it as a loss of money. The educational experience was very expensive in that last business. So at the end of the day, all this stuff just decided to go kaboom, including a relationship that I had for 3.5, 4 years, which through the samkaras, I realized that in 2011, when I had my second fiance, I was a very mean individual. I was very mean. I left her. I didn't communicate with her. I didn't talk to her. I left. And at some point, that is going to get you because you're not dealing with it. And it got me. Like, it went right back to exactly what I was going through. And, I came to a point mentally where I was suicidal. And it's very important to talk about this stuff because people don't like to talk about this. So even at 16 years, I've been suicidal a couple times. So right away, I don't go to drinking or using because that's the slow way out. I don't like that way out. I like the fast way out. So if I'm going to go, I'm going to go. And you can call that selfish. You can call that whatever you want to do. But there is a lot of strength in somebody that thinks that they can go to the other side. But so I became suicidal and just sick and got just depressed and sick and wouldn't do anything. And then I found myself at the fish plant wanting to hang myself. And God sent somebody to the fish plant at 6 o'clock at night to intervene. And, that's when somebody told me I should reach out to somebody. Once I reached out to somebody, that somebody, which was Robert Ware, who was in my second stage home, who's basically been like my counselor in my whole entire recovery, said, you need to write down things. The cheapest, easiest form of therapy is what? Journaling. I don't need a counselor. I need a journal. That's what I need, right? So here I go. I write down 10 things from present to back. I don't like to go from back to present, right? And all of a sudden, my life is now compartmentalized, and I understand what's going on with me. Then he says, call the doctor. You need to get in because you got, like you're not doing well. It took a couple of days. I got in. I talked to a doctor. Wasn't my doctor, so I just let it all out. And then she got me in with a counselor. I didn't get to see the counselor till, like 8 weeks later. By that time, I've already worked through my shit because now I'm calling everybody on my phone because I got 4,400 phone numbers on my phone. So if you ain't picking up, I'm calling you. And so now I'm working through my shit. Right now I'm back in recovery. Now I'm back. So what happened? How did that happen? Well, number one, I forgot to work on Jay's recovery. I forgot. Not that I didn't do any work. I just forgot to do the deep work. I got really entwined in helping other people and do a really good job at that for 8 years. And then I got entwined into success. I'm very successful in a lot of different areas. So when people talk about karma, don't think it won't come to you, because it will. And it'll come to you when you least expect it. You got to think, we were coming off of those 3 events. I was on one of the biggest highs of my life, living my biggest dream ever. If nothing ever happened after those 3 events, I was so happy. It wasn't even funny. And then, bam, right? And this is where I went right back to the basics, the samkaras, the experiences in life, the duffel bag of trauma. That's how I look at it. So I had just had a big bag of trauma, and I just needed to work through it. And luckily enough for me, I'm glad I listened to the person that said call Bob, because if I didn't call Bob, I don't know where I'd be today. But because I called Bob, it started the process of, there is worth in me. I can write down stuff. I can do this. I can pick up my phone. And it may sound funny coming from a guy coming up on 16 years, but guess what? You need to hear this from a guy that's coming up on 16 years. If you got 1 day, you got 30 days, you got 2 years, because you could be sparky, all happy, and all of a sudden it happened to you. So don't think that it won't happen to you, because it does happen to you. You got to be ready for it. And you also have to have the supports in place to really set yourself up for success. And I was able to work through that whole thing. 2 weeks ago, I sat on the deck. What I like to do after I work through my samkaras, and after I work through my journaling, and after I like to burn it. So I like to light it up on fire, and I like to let it go. For me, if it's burnt, I'm never going back to it. It's gone. The only one that can take it back now is me. It's because it's really gone. Like, where is it? I can't see it. It's gone. I can't go back to the letter, read it again. Oh my God, I miss it. Oh. And then you go back into that phase, right? You're just going back down into that.
It's elemental. When you burn it, it becomes elemental. Using the elements is exponentially wonderful. Whether you're using fire or water, you can use air. There's all sorts of different elements. Daphne and I use crystals on a very regular basis. So with me, once I've done a journal, and I fill a whole journal, I've got boxes full of journals, and I burnt a lot too. I will place it with a crystal on top and leave it to what I call GUS, God, Universe, Source, and allow that to help me amplify what it is that I've been writing about. Because when we write, we're manifesting and we're praying at the same time. So I choose my crystals with great care. Sometimes I'll just take one of the necklaces that I've got. Daphne makes all my jewelry, and down it goes on the journal. It's that creating that sacred space. It's so powerful, and it's so much fun. Recovery is a life experience. So when I talk about recovery, so much like you, recover your joy. Joy is the utmost. It's called exponential in my world because it's joy multiplied by 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, until it gets super duper big. I know what that feeling is like. You know when you look at a sunset and you're like, oh, the birth of a child, those small itty bitty teeny weeny fingers, they're so cute. That, the smell of puppies, puppy kisses, cotton candy, bubble gum. When I'm there, in the moments that matter, which are the moments throughout my day, I have joyful experiences every day. That's the gauge for me. That's the gauge. And then something happens. Okay, which lane am I going to go in? Am I going to stay in my lane? Am I going to look in my rearview mirror? I mean, I got to look when I change lanes.
Mhm.
Listen to your verbiage. What are you talking about now
Mhm.
or before?
Mhm.
Or are you talking about your future? We can talk about our future too. Too much future is too much future. You're kind of you
Anxiety.
metaphysical when you go into the future too much. But
Well,
Right.
I love, Jay, that your program is for everyone and whatever trauma that they need to recover from. I mean, myself, I came back from a massive closed head brain injury when I was 15 years old. So, I mean, I'm not supposed to be here, but I am. Long story short, I mean, putting things into perspective, like I'm not supposed to be here, but I am. I had to learn to walk, talk, feed myself, dress myself, everything again.
God
And I
bless you.
did, you know. And so, yes, there was a lot of trauma in my life that I dealt with. But like you, with writing it down and burning it and releasing it, I have since released a lot of the trauma from that experience I had no control over. And I can see the joy in my experience to bring me to where I am today, just like you.
Yeah, it's like detaching, right? Like we're attached to things, right? So I was attached to certain things that I thought I had, because we have no control. Something could shoot out of the computer right now. I have no control of that, right? Like, honestly, it could. I don't
That would
know.
be epic.
It would be epic. Could hurt, but who knows? But at the end of the day, we don't. The only place we have control is right here, right? So you get attached to something, you have to detach, right? The detach process is the process that is like you got to go through that. And that when you're detaching is what's bringing the samkaras up, because you're like, it's like the experiences. Oh, good, right? Because really, uh, I think every experience in life is a good experience because we get to live it, even if it is shitty, right?
Yeah.
If I wasn't living, I wouldn't be able to feel shitty. So that's a great experience,
true.
right? So
When
for
I was
me,
in the
like
hospital,
this
sorry,
this this time around when I went through this last hoop,
Mhm.
I've just really realized that there's not a bad experience for me. I do not want to
No.
miss any experience, even if that's me breaking my leg, even if that's me going and getting a hip surgery on leap year, by the way, which is February 29th. Funny that they're going to just let me leap out of there. I told her today, my pre-op, I said, I'm going to leap out of there because it's leap year. And she's like, ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, no, it's leap year. It's the 4 years. Anyways, so like even the hip surgery, right? I'm embracing the fact that I get a new hip in here where I'll feel better and I'll be able to do things. Not I'm scared to go get a new hip, or I'm going to be this, or I'm going to be that, it's an experience I get to go through. Probably not the best experience in the world, but it's an experience. So, yeah, I don't know that last thing I went through brought me to this deeper level of the chakra, the third eye, brought me to this clearing. Where it's just like cleared. I don't know. You ladies must understand it, right? Cleared. Like I just feel cleared, and I feel like
Well, it's an open and it's a close. It's a really neat. It's like a salt and pepper. You know when you like the spice jar, you open it, you close it. Sometimes it gets a little bit clogged. Sometimes it'll flow too fast, so you got to slow it down. It's finding that balance in between, and finding that balance in between because there are many programs. You're going for a knee surgery. I can't Reiki that into happy. Daphne can't Reiki that into into that, or use the scalar wave energies. There's not enough essential oils that can rub on that. And once you're going through the recovery of the pain and trauma of that experience, oh, better call Nance, gotta call Daph. What's going on? How does this work? You got this fancy light. What does that do? Scalar wave energy, photons, so much. There's this integrated medicine. Alternative medicine, I don't like turning off one side of the tap. I like hot and cold water. Why would I turn off one side of the tap?
Yeah.
I'll get burnt or I'll get frozen. I don't like cold
Yeah.
water. I do not like cold water. Actually, I like cold water in a cup. So getting them both going is so powerful. And knowing that everyone's experience is different and unique.
Mhm.
And
You
it's-
do you.
and-
I do me. I'm not going to do
And-
Jay.
No,
That sounded awkward,
please,
right?
please,
But I can't be.
please don't go in my mind. Didn't you say you were just getting married?
Oh my gosh!
found out- you
know what?
found
And
out I
that's
was
what's really
single.
interesting. No. But that's what people get mixed up. They're like, oh, she's a psychic medium. She knows what I'm thinking. I can feel your energy. I'll pull some cards for you. And
Well-
the angels will give me an indication.
Well, and that's the thing. She said, "You do you," because that's my story. And you were talking about journaling and writing down your story and writing your experiences. That's what I did for me to get through my journey as I continue in life too. So that's, what it is.
Yeah, I think that I just cleared a lot of stuff.
Good.
Right. I cleared cleared a lot of stuff that needed to be cleared. And thank God I have an amazing team like Brooke and Carl and Natasha, who's helping in Edmonton for our May 11th event, and Giselle, who just came on board a couple weeks back. She's a veteran, so we have veterans a part of the platform now as well, because they're so important, and there's just a lack of support for them. So I'm really grateful that we're able to give them this support, and just really glad that
Frontline workers.
I'm just grateful, that I just listened to them. I was at a point where I was ready to listen, and because I was able to listen, I was able to clear a lot. And there's something to be said in listening, something to be said in listening, and maybe you're not hearing it at the time, but you're gonna hear it. And when you hear it, you're going to act on it, right? Like, so not every action deserves a reaction, right? You're just blurting out anger or hurt or more trauma, really, right? Yeah. So, I was grateful that I was at a point where I could do it. And we pushed the Edmonton event back to May 11th. It was going to be February 11th. And we pushed the event to May 11th. It just was smarter. Just more time, more excitement, more love, kindness, and compassion, and Jay getting healthier. And I think that's the biggest one, is Jay getting healthier. At the end of the day, Jay's in recovery. So, when we look at this platform of Empower to Recover Foundation, it's actually a real guy going through real stuff, doing real things. So I feel just as much as the next person feels, and I hurt just as much as the next person, and I all these things, right? So I'm not just this mechanical robot at the front end here saying that life is amazing and awesome, but I can tell you it is amazing and awesome when you do the things that you're supposed to do for yourself, which is take care of yourself. And this weekend I'm going to Thermia. I'm going to go sit in a hot tub. I'm going to go sit in a sauna. I'm going to go get in a steam room. I'm going to go hang out and take care of take care of me. And so if there was one message I ever have, if there was one message for anybody in recovery, is take care of yourself. That's it, because we get so wrapped up and we need to get everything back so fast. And here's the thing, when I was in active addiction, my life was so fast. Like, why do we want to rush life? Why do we want to miss things? Why do we want to, so when I was in active addiction, it was going like 900 miles an hour. So all of a sudden I get into recovery and I feel like I've lost so many things. That's not even true. I just gained everything back because I'm in recovery. I didn't lose shit. I've just gained it all back. Right? So why do I gotta rush it? Right? Because I'm gonna rush.
Do we rush a vacation? Do you rush vacation? You go on a vacation to slow down, enjoy. And then
Life is precious.
often 4 or 5 days before the return, you're like that. Ugh.
Yeah.
What if you wanted to return? What if you had built a life, or were in the process of building? Because I've built a life and I'm in the process of building both. There's always challenges. There's always changes. There's obstacles, there's opportunities, there's challenges, there's choices. One common denominator, you, OCD, one common denominator. A lot of people can't understand Nance thinking. There's an acronym.
I know that acronym.
Well, the problem is that, you know, we just went through one of the biggest gong shows, well, the biggest gong show, which brought in a lot of disconnect. So a lot of people are just disconnected. Like, and that's another big thing I've learned from our events, is that we're bringing back connection, which is like really, really amazing. In all different forms.
Time
It's
out
all
to mess us up.
Yeah. Well, and
Time out.
don't go around this
I mean-
person, and don't go there, and don't go here, and don't do this and don't do that, and I'm gonna do that to you if you don't do that. Like, it's just a whole bunch of disconnect, and you know, no wonder the suicide rates are so high. No wonder the overdose rates are so high. No wonder the homeless rates are so high. No wonder all the businesses. No wonder, right? Like, so when you come from a side of truth, you got to have, you know, what are we going to give the people? What about the people, right? And
so, Jay, how can people find you online?
www.empower2recover.com. That's the number 2. So that you're going to see our website. You're going to see all the upcoming events. So we do have an online event coming up February 11th. It's going to run from 11 a.m. till 3 p.m. Everybody's going to celebrate. We got some great speakers. I'll be celebrating 16 years that day as well. And then we roll into Timmins, Ontario on April 13th at the La Ronde. Tickets are going to be available this week, so we'll have tickets up for that. And then May 11th, we roll into the Edmonton Convention Center in Edmonton, Alberta for our biggest event, 5th event in under a year. And I'm proud to say that the Mental Health Foundation is our charity partner for that event. Which is very exciting and very awesome to say that we have a charity partner today in such a short period of time. It's really exciting for me to say that people know who we are in such a short period of time. And it has a lot to do with my whole entire team and the people that love us and care about us and do the things that they do. So we're also looking at doing an overdose. I'm just right now working on an overdose awareness partner up day for August 31st. And then we're looking at doing 3 events in September for Recovery Month in Alberta somewhere. But a huge shout out too to Giselle, who just came on board. Breaking Dressing Rags podcast. She's doing some phenomenal things as well. She's got an event actually in Toronto, January 24th, coming up right away. We just got a lot of amazing things, and it's not just in one, it's all across Canada, right? And now we got national, like the USA is kind of eyeing us up a bit.
Well, good people attract good people.
And
Edmonton has an
they get
amazing
shook off the tree, and they're still good people.
Edmonton, the Edmonton ability to come together is spectacular. It truly is. We have a wonderful city with a lot of wonderful musicians. Wow. There's going to be a few coming up on the shows here in the future. I've got Doug Robb coming up. He's an Edmonton local who's, I think he's in Manitoba now touring. He's just spectacular. There's a lot of love in Edmonton. We've got a strong Indigenous community. It's absolutely spectacular.
I think Natasha Delaney from Indigenous Project Events is helping us put on the event in Edmonton. So a big shout out to her. She just celebrated 5 years in recovery as well. So she's doing some phenomenal work for us in the Edmonton area. You're right though. Like Edmonton is
And
so
our
I look at Calgary and I look at
was in
Edmonton, 2 different places.
I was in construction for 35 years. There's a lot of home builders in Edmonton who I have reached out to. Yeah. Boy, this is a huge opportunity. I mean, we're talking about building building something that will make a difference in lives, because every family, circling back to family, I asked about the generational, every family will be affected somehow and need to recover, whether that's a trauma or an addiction, loss of job. That is what we are recovering from, pain. So
Physical and
if you are
emotional.
going to put some skin in the game, I'm so tired of, I'll get back to you next week. Yeah, you know what? Do it. Do it. Put some skin in the game, because we've got a lot of business owners in Edmonton who I've known for decades. Decades. Put some skin in the game. Sign up for
Well,
some
that's
joy.
the beautiful
Get
thing is
some
that it's
skin in the
empowered to
game.
recover. So it could be the 7-Eleven spot, it could be the hot dog spot, it doesn't matter. And this is the thing when I'm out there, because the way we raise money for the platform is because we haven't had any government funding yet. We do have some funding applications in, but we've had to go city to city and raise money. So we raise money through our packages, which is the Empower 2000, the silver, the gold, the platinum, and then always looking for corporate people because we want to go all across Canada. Or a national partner for
What an
that matter.
opportunity.
Yeah, huge opportunity
What an
for something
opportunity.
that is needed big time. And
It
what I
is.
saw
It
last
is.
year,
Get
I mean,
your logo
486
on.
people.
Wow.
And Edmonton, you know, I do want to give a big shout out to the Hunter Family Foundation because they made the biggest contribution to our platform December 11th, which was $10,000. So the Hunter Family Foundation gave us a contribution of $10,000, and I'm forever grateful for the Hunter Family Foundation for believing in what we're doing, for noticing that people's stories matter, for noticing that trauma, mental health, and addiction stories need to be out there, need to be told, need to be shined on, to show that every facet of life is a trauma, mental health, and addiction story. So it doesn't matter if you're a construction worker, a barber, a pharmacist, whatever, a musician, a wrestler, whatever. We all have it. We all have a story. And that's the sexiest thing about this platform is that it actually houses everybody. And through housing
It
everybody,
truly does. It truly does. We've got a great fight community here in Edmonton. Oh my gosh, the boxers, the MMA. I mean, there's so much. There are so many valuable people in this community who can do so much. We show up for the events when it comes to sports. We raise our banner and we fly our flag outside of our car, whether it's Oilers or Flames or Flyers. They don't care about you.
So
they care about us now. They care about us now. They care about us now. I'm telling you, they care about us. They care about us now. They care about us now. Which is interesting, because really it hasn't been that long, right? Like really, it has not been that long for us to say that by the time May 11th comes, that would be our 5th and largest event in under a year.
okay, so how many tickets are available for that event?
So tickets are actually available right now up on event.
No, how many tickets? There's only 250 tickets available?
No, 600 tickets are available for the Edmonton events.
Okay.
So they're up on Eventbrite right now. So you can go to search Alberta's Battle Through Recovery Edmonton and you'll get your tickets. The ticket price does include the catered lunch on the Edmonton Convention Center, which I talked to the chef there and he's very sexy and his
I'll be there.
Yes, you will be there.
Beautiful.
I got my ticket.
You might get a stage spot. With your persistency, you could probably get it.
You know what? When you consistently show up and consistently show up and consistently show up, I was talking with my potential editor this morning. I've got to talk to my publisher Thursday. I'm pushing to get my memoir out on Mother's Day. That's a big push. That's a big push, and it's a big commitment. I'm putting major skin in the game. I mean, I was up at 1 o'clock, went back to bed, woke up at 4:44. I mean, it's just. But
it's your dream.
It's more than my dream. It's my legacy.
I know.
Create a legacy, everybody, because your life matters.
100%. 100%.
Yeah,
So-
that's the mic drop moment right there, Nance.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so
From
and
a
you can check
shy
us out
gal.
on social media everywhere. So we're on social media: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. TikTok or Twitter, whatever you want to call it now. X, Z, what is it? X. So we're over there too. And also on that, we are looking for vendors for the event. So if you are a treatment center, pre-treatment center, second stage home product service, somebody that has a hobby in recovery. A lot of people have hobbies in recovery and they don't necessarily like to speak. Their hands speak for them, which is one of the most beautiful things in the world to see somebody in recovery live their dream through their hands and make these beautiful things. And so if we are looking for some.
Reach out to me and I'll connect you to Jay.
Yeah.
Reach out to me, I'll connect you to Jay. It's that easy, right? I mean, if you're confused, Nancy Nance, exponential joy, recover your joy. It's a beautiful world. Become a part of it. So you're back on the other podcast that we have in March. So we'll be able to talk to you about everything that's happened in between. So until then, love you to the moon and back. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you,
welcome.
thank you, thank you.
Thanks, ladies, for having me.
What an
Have a
absolute
magical
joy.
day.
Yeah, have a magical day. So talk soon. See you next week on Recover